Hello, Creative Spirits listeners, and you're here with the gorgeous Sherrie McCarthy of Creative
Hello.
and Kate Darnell of Gumbits by the Sea. And this is season 3, episode 1. We're into our third magical season, Sherrie. How amazing is that? And Sherrie's just going to go and get herself in a quiet, precious, prepared place, still on the ground, not on the boat yet. Here we go.
No, but how it always works.
Close.
My mother decides to have a phone call conversation next to my head.
That's because we will always be tested. Always.
Exactly.
Look for the lessons, beautiful souls. Actually, a friend said that to me today. Look for the lessons, not for the actions. And I was like, ooh, that's good.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's
yes.
a good one. Yeah. Well, yeah. Look for the lesson, not for the actions. Anyway, we don't need to pull apart that particular lesson and action, because what we're talking about, season 3, episode 1, is all things self-care, because that's what we talk about a lot. And why? Well, because Sherrie's a little bit run down, and because I realize it's still a reoccurring message, especially for so many of our listeners who, they are sneaking this podcast as a little bit of their self-care. And that is brilliant. I am so glad that this podcast can be a part of your self-care, and that Sherrie and I can show up and support you and, just let you know that this is real life and you're doing great. But also we're hoping, I guess, to empower a lot of our listeners to really prioritize that self-care in a way that isn't selfish and is in actual fact so necessary. So a few weeks back, I wrote a blog that was incredibly popular, and it shared 11 things that Sherrie and I have really pretty much spoken about over the course of our seasons, which highlight things that, Gumboots by the Sea suggests for us to make sure we're self-caring. So we're going to talk about some of them this episode. We might spend a whole season talking about them. But Sherrie's just going to have a little chat about what she's done today to make sure that today can flow in a way that works for her, not against her, but why she's still here, even though she had an out. She's a bit run down. She's got a bit of a cold. She had an out. We're ahead of schedule. We could do this another time. But that pinpointing, showing up and doing for you, not sabotaging versus oh no, I won't do that, I will do this thing. It's sort of like, I guess, always tuning in, coming into heart space and working out what really lights you up. Sherrie?
Exactly. And this is quite difficult. This is something that I have been working on for a very long time. And I think I finally got the teeter-totter kind of where it should be. It's always a little bit of give and take. But just a quick little background to what happened is that last Friday I had a book due for pre-order. Yeah. And exactly, I was very excited. I got it done. But it did mean that I had about a week beforehand where I was up to 12:30, 1 o'clock every single night. Both my kids are sick, and I managed to get it in. And then I guess my body kind of collapsed and it hit me. And so yesterday I emailed Kate and said, I'm feeling really gross. I'm super sick. But I didn't want to also cancel, because part of me was also saying, you can cancel, Sherrie, but it was not a good whisper. It wasn't the whisper of, you need to take time off. It was the whisper of, indulge, come curl up. Just and I know this voice. It wasn't a voice of, this is what you need. This is support. This was definitely me kind of going, you have an excuse, now jump off it. You know what I mean? Which is, it's a little bit of self-sabotage in there.
Yeah.
And then I realized, because showing up for the podcast is really important for me in both ways, in that I love it. I really get something from us, even if we never actually put these online and let no one listen to us. This is my time with you. It's great. We get to talk. We talk about things that matter, especially to me. And so part of me was like, no, don't do that. But part of me was also like, you can hear me. I'm not healthy. And at the same time, I can be very guilty. And I tend to do one of two things. Either I go 100%, which is like, no, ignore the body, ignore what's going on, a little bit of this martyr behavior of, it doesn't matter how you feel, the Cancer rising in me, the shadow aspect coming out and sacrificing myself for everybody. At the same time, and this is definitely where this balance comes. It's like, but you're sick and you're allowed to be sick.
Yeah. Yes.
And so anyway, what I decided to do was I actually wrote you and said, if it's okay, could we please do it an hour later? And I know now we've got this great internet connection, but I really want to take advantage of this great internet connection. But instead of doing 2 episodes, can we do 1? And that lit me up. That was like, that's the balance. That's where you are. That's not you, self-sabotaging, using your illness to crawl away and not do anything. At the same time, neither was I doing the whole, don't matter, I'll do whatever it takes for you and us to get better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that really helped. And then actually it was a few minutes even later than normal to be on this podcast, because I got an email from friends saying that the pre-order that went out on Friday, the last Samurai book, is not available outside of Germany. So people are trying to buy it to kind of let me have this good first day, and no one can buy it. So I panicked, and then I was like, and then Kate said to me again, she offered, we don't have to do this today. And I said, no, actually, what I did was...
Sherrie was like, no, we do.
Exactly. Because I was like, excuse me, I'm going to cough. I said to one of my friends who I planned to have a coffee with this afternoon, I need to cancel that. Because again, I love her. I love hanging out with her, but I need to get this book thing sorted. And it's also very tempted again to tell myself, oh, you're only in Canada for 6 weeks. You're leaving next week. You won't see her for a couple of months, But again, and then I thought to myself, if I was at a job right now and it was a holiday and I got a phone call saying there's been an emergency, can you come in? Would I cancel for the job this coffee? And I was like, yes, I would actually. If a job called me and said, you need to come in, I would. I'm like, but writing is my job.
Yes.
This is important to me.
Oh, so we're so
right?
Sherrie. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I was like, so you, again, being the shadow Cancer of not wanting my friend to feel she's not important enough to me, would then sacrifice something, my dream, basically, of being able to live from writing. And I'm like, all of a sudden, when you put that into context of, is this worth sacrificing your dream? Because we always think it's just one day. But how you behave today is how you behave every day. And I realized that, no, this is me actually self-sabotaging, sacrificing, going with, I don't feel like dealing with it today, so I won't. And so that's when Kate said, should we do like the self-care thing? I was like, yes, because I want to share with the listeners my personal journey of how difficult it is of really knowing, because it can be quite difficult. It's, wait, am I pushing myself too hard? Am I not pushing myself enough? And it's just like Kate said, you feel it. It's the balance all of a sudden comes in and the vibration is right. It's not off. And then you realize, that's the right choice. That's the one. What does my heart say about this? Is this sacrificing the dream or just busting myself up to get there? Nope, it's busting myself up. Then I'm going to take a break. Nope, it's me sacrificing. Then I put new boundaries up. Like we just do one video and then I go take care of the Amazon stuff.
Perfect. And do you know what? This was very much channeled when I wrote this. It just came pouring out of me, and I was like, "Wow, where did those 1,000 words come from?" Excellent. But the first thing I have, I didn't put any thought into the order. I just, as they came out, I wrote them. The first thing I have is speak it, and how fitting that you chose the podcast. You chose to show up in the podcast to speak it, to say it, to share it, because beautiful listeners, this is where a lot of our breakthroughs happen. This is why Sherrie and I spent our interludes sharing with you our offerings, because when you have someone hold space and you can get your head around it, be it a friend, an actual formal session, alternative healing session, your bestie, text your mum, whoever it is that you know is a safe person for you to just say it out. I know my Soli is always saying to me, she's always saying, just say it. No one else is listening. Just say it, then it's out. And oh gosh, it feels so good. Like you just go, I feel like this. Oh, okay, no, I don't really feel like that. But because this is what fuels the soul sabotage. Self-care is the
Yes.
cure for all soul sabotage, and finding perfect boundaries, being able to say no, and speaking up, speaking out how you're feeling. So instead of, I was like, oh, Sherrie, you don't have to do this. She's like, no, I'm speaking up. I do have to do this, but I am going to say no to the coffee, which, on paper you'd be like, no, don't work, go and have the coffee, right? But sharing you in yourself, in yourself enough that showing up, doing work, this is, like you put it, this is your dream. And
Yes.
that's huge too, that you like, that's huge. And this is that really hit me in my heart space, because I'm like, oh my God, this is our work. And
Yes.
another blog just the week of this recording was, oh no, this is my work, because I'll finish a call with one of my groups and I'll go, oh my God, that was so fun. How could I ever call this work? Easy peasy, because it's living my dream, living out my soul's desires, tuning in and channeling. This is amazing for the listeners. Sherrie is nodding so much, and this is usually when she's like, yes.
My voice, I'm conserving.
You're conserving. I love it. But to have those epiphanies and to share that with our listeners, because I know I'm it's on the tip of my tongue to do a little shout out to some of the people that I know I'm listening that are listening. But we've got artists and we've got writers who are at that verge of, do I leave this comfortable mainstream job? Maybe not. But do I honor my dreams? Absolutely. And you start doing that by self-care.
Yes.
All comes back to self-care, because when you're looking after yourself, when you're prioritizing yourself, you get closer to your heart's desires, you get closer to articulating your passions, and then you will honor it as well, because it makes you feel good and you realize it makes other people feel good, and you actually do have these amazing relationships, and you're not selfish. It makes you more selfless, because you can give more and be more. And Sherrie will get that coffee date with one of her besties when the timing is absolutely right. And for now, she will fix her really, really, really important Amazon opportunity. By the way, we can get Sherrie's book. Is this Lynn Francis, Sherrie?
Yeah, this is the Lynn Francis.
Yeah,
Lynn Francis.
Yes. So
yeah.
Yeah,
and
we're
I
going
want
to
to
be
say
able to
too
get
that
that.
don't forget it's a journey. I think also like both, all of it. Like when you said about your friends, do I quit? Do I not quit? You don't have to worry about that yet. And I think we're so guilty of this, and this is where the self-care comes in too, and listening to yourself. And even today, like this time last year, I would have been up at 8 o'clock and I would have done our 2 episodes. Actually, I would have been up at 7 so I could get a shower and then talk to you at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
I would have done the 2 back to back. I would have been in a total panic with Suzanne. I would have I said a name, but okay. I would have went for the coffee. I would have put all thinking constantly, oh, the book. And then tonight, I would have got home and I would have been super tired and I would have been like, now I'll start working on the book. And I would have started making mistakes and I would have been beating myself up. Or I would have said, see, that's just not meant to be, and I would have went to bed. Instead of going, okay, no, where is this journey? Where do I need to check in? Where do I need to learn? And also when it comes to whether or not, you should quit or not, don't worry about that yet. That's further down the road. If you're worried about quitting or not, it's not time to quit. It's time to still have both. You're allowed to have both. The important thing is that you let that creative spark keep growing and you keep choosing it and you nurture it. And then eventually it will get to the point where you don't have to worry about choosing anymore. It's an automatic no-brainer. You just know this is now can replace this and it's safe. So I think that's really, really important to remember too, that all of this is a journey. It's just a learning curve. And then something will happen and knock us back and we need to learn it again. Like it's okay.
Yep. And, like I said at the start, how divine timing was that? The message and the lesson I received from a friend today, she's like, focus on the lessons, not on the actions. And like, that's probably another podcast on itself, but already something we can start bringing into our self-care practice when things happen. as humans, especially of this, you know, in this world, we're so quick to be like, well, they did this. Oh, look at my kids when they're having a little battle. They instantly are like, well, she pinched me first. Well, this happened first, or I did this. They're focusing on the actions. But if we just take a minute, and I do it as their mum, I go, well, let's just have a little think about how we could be kind, and I focus on the lesson. And we need to do that as we're prioritizing self, when we're prioritizing self-care and going, hang on, what's triggering me? What's getting in my head space? What's fueling a negative mind chatter that's not allowing me to create? And usually that could just be sabotage. That do I leave my job? Do I do this? Well, if you will know when you will know, and you will step into it. And beautiful souls, I'm not going to tell you you won't look back, because you will look back. You absolutely will look back. But providing you continue to nourish your soul and your spirit, and providing you keep filling your cup and you keep prioritizing your self-care, because this has been the biggest breakthrough for me. And it only came those few weeks ago when I wrote that blog, was that the true medicine to soul sabotage, negative mind chatter, prioritizing the coffee date over your dreams is going self-care. Boundaries. Yes, I'm going to do this. We're going to start a little bit later. We're only going to record one. That's fine. No worries. I loved it. Easy peasy. So
exactly.
Wow. Self-care. Self-care. It's so simple. And when Sherrie and I were talking about our the topic, I'm like, well, given you're sick, think it's a good one for self-care. One of my intentions for this moon cycle has been keep it simple. Keep it simple. And we don't have to complicate. Just because we're in season 3, we don't have to be like, right, what intrigue, I can't even say intrigue, what
I'm with you.
What
lion.
what intricate.
I'm not joining in here. My tongue is tongue-toed when it's tongue-toed, you know.
What? Anyway, what I'm trying to say is, I don't even have to say it. Spirit's like putting a stop on that, because keep it simple. Keep it simple. We don't have to go, let's go deeper. Let's do this. Like, just by showing up, just by presenting whatever comes out in these conversations is what our listeners need to hear. And this is where I am always, you know, in that spiritual flow of trust and believe. It's when I have my gumboots hat on, when I'm talking all things self-care, spirituality, taking times to breathe, heart space, heart's desires, because it always comes back to perfect as we are, exactly what it needs to be.
And, you know, the power of now. It's important. We only have now. There's a reason why, and we can want to rush and stress and everything else and think we're not where we're supposed to be, but we are, exactly like you said, exactly where we're supposed to be right now. You froze. Really, I wonder if I'm froze. Okay.
Oh, are we unfroze? Are we here? I just had
no, we're all there.
Yep, good. So I love that. We froze in a moment. See?
We said the power of now, and then boom.
Breathe and breathe. And I'm going to actually encourage us all to have a little breathe now and share a card from the gorgeous moon deck. Because the cards that I pulled out when we were just chatting at the start was, I allow stillness to heal and reveal. So I feel sometimes after we speak it, it's a really, and this isn't in order now, but I think this flows perfectly. It's a really nice reminder to go and take some time to sit in stillness. Take some time to meditate. 2 minutes is all you need. But, 7 is really good. 10 is awesome. An hour, you won't be sorry. But take some time to just sit and allow whatever comes up, or whatever you've released, or whatever breakthroughs you've had. Take a moment right now to just stop what you're doing and sit just for a moment. It's safe to sit. It's safe to sit still. And it's safe to breathe. And this beautiful card comes with such, a message that's just that. I allow stillness to heal and to reveal. To heal and to reveal. We don't have to
so important.
Constantly chase. We don't have to constantly chase. It's really funny today. I was really, making myself, you never regret a swim, you never regret exercise, making myself go to the pool, wasn't gonna sabotage, wasn't gonna, I'll just stay home and get these things done. No, I'm going. Had to do a few things first, get to the pool. And intuition chimed in and was like, you're not going for a swim. And I was like, ooh, because fine line, am I sabotaging? What's going on? No, you're not going for a swim. So and I was like, okay, well, I'll show you. I got out of the car. And I was like, maybe I just need to meditate. I was like, no, I need to move my body. It's spring and summer's coming and everyone's exercising and I shall too exercise. I need to do this. Intuition kept saying, you're not going for a swim. Yes, I am. Tapped my little tap card, went in, put my swimmers on, went out. The pool was closed. I wasn't going for a swim. The pool was closed. It was closed for water polo or whatever was going on. Anyway, so I couldn't believe it. I don't know what came over me. I went to the front desk. I said, please refund my tag, my swim. I cannot swim. The pool is closed. I don't want to swim in the other pool. I like the outside pool. She was very obliging. And I was like, who am I? Like, who started that? Because, 12 months ago, it would have been like, I'll just have a paddle in the kids' pissy pool then. Never mind. At least I got to do something. No. I went to my car and I honored Spirit's call. You're not going to a swim. And I sat in my warm car under a shady tree and I meditated and I read. And then I drove home and I still filled my cup. Keep it simple, beautiful souls. And stillness. There is so much to be said about sitting still. Not necessarily putting Netflix on for 2 hours, although I do recommend that on the right days as well. But just sitting still, playing some meditation music, tuning in to a guided one, breathing into self. And Sherrie, that's your medicine today. Once the Amazon stuff sorted, stillness.
Yes.
Just some stillness.
And I love how it says reveal too, because that's what I find that often in the stillness, because I fought meditation for a very long time too. I was like, I can't meditate. I'm just sitting here thinking thoughts.
Yeah.
And then I realized that actually it's okay, like to sit there and have these thoughts. I started realizing that this is my way to find out what the stories I'm telling myself are. Mm-hmm. And that's why I loved in the stillness, it's revealed, because, I was always pushing it away, be like, hey, meditate. Oh, I'm not meditating right. And then finally I read someplace that no one can meditate right. You know what I mean? Like, even the best ones are like a few minutes quiet, then in comes the next creepy voice. And it's like, okay, push it away. And then said, okay, well, you know what? Then I'm just going to use this time not to push the thoughts away, but to kind of grab hold of them and unravel them, to give myself the time and space and some nice music to kind of be like, okay, where is this thought going? And what am I really? And I realized a lot of things that I only wanted because I got caught up in what I was reading about it. Like feeling like I had to write.
So I'm
telling myself that I only got to figure out because I was doing the unraveling.
Yes. Excellent. I lost a bit of that.
You froze there for a second.
But it caught up. It was quite interesting timing because it started to rain here. I don't know if that interfered with my internet, but it was very cleansing. We had a little moment.
Find in Grenada, whenever it rains, we lose internet.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Do you know, that gives me the perfect in to share. When I first started meditating every single day, that the whole reason that season 2 was about believing in yourself and finding yourself again, because this was what really brought me back to self post kids. Silas's auntie gifted me a 7-week meditation course and it was amazing. 15 minutes a day for 7 weeks. And at first I'm like, how am I going to commit to that? But my heart and soul said I would, and I did. And Lucy maybe had just turned 1. So, I had a 1-year-old and that means Eden wasn't quite 3 yet. So I had a 1-year-old and a 2-year-old, or maybe a not quite 1-year-old and a not quite 3-year-old, whatever it was, little children. Anyway, these meditations, and I guided meditations as a drama teacher all through my teaching. And I'd done super study things as a teenager. I'd sneak away and do meditations. But when I started these meditations, most of my inner thoughts were, I'm meditating. Look at me. I'm meditating. I'm meditating every day. I'm so connected. And I wasn't really meditating, but I was. because the
Exactly.
act of doing it doesn't matter what's going on in that mind. It doesn't actually matter. It's the act of stopping. And then one day I had this sort of epiphany. It was like, Kate, just meditate. Stop telling yourself you're meditating. And I was like, oh, whoa. And this is why those practices, self-care is so important every day. You can't feast or famine self-care. You can't go, oh, but I had yesterday, so, I'm going to have to, resent everyone else and everything else and be the martyr for the next month because I had that time yesterday. It has to be everyday practice. And eventually my sitting did reveal, oh, I'm getting messages from source. Oh, okay, action that. Okay. Oh, cool. I'm in a galaxy. Wow, this is a place of, and eventually that voice quietened. And now this is why I'm so passionate about come into breath, go to your place of peace, because it can be as easy and as hard as that. But
Exactly.
it takes regularly showing up and regularly committing to self, committing to you. And I think that's where we are, in fact, going deeper, because this is Kate and Sherrie. And interesting that your call's making us do this, Sherrie. It's making both of us slow down, and it is making us really get allowing these points to integrate so that our listeners can go, oh, yep, that's me. Or, wow, I am forcing something that can just flow.
Or even if someone calls them and says, I can't make it today, instead of making up the stories, go, okay, they're honoring their boundaries.
Definitely.
Because imagine if we started doing that for other people too. That means you can do it for yourself.
Definitely. And also not to take it personally.
That freed me. To stop taking it personally meant other people don't have to take it personally either. And you really do treat others the way you treat yourself. And it can be quite inverted sometimes, but sometimes you think you're doing a good thing, like I said, just sacrificing everything to show up for people, and then you're getting mad and angry when they don't do the same for you, because you're like, wait, no, I've done this for you, why aren't you doing it for me? And it's just creating this really ugly, unfriendly energy from a place that you thought was of love, which is why I think it's so important for self-care, because you learn how to protect those boundaries, and by protecting the boundaries you also allow other people to do the same for themselves. Because all of a sudden you don't take it personally. You're like, wait, no, this has nothing to do with me, and everything to do with they have a Amazon crisis and this is their dream, and they're choosing the dream over me, and that's not a bad thing.
Not a bad thing at all. Not
exactly. I will see her again tomorrow instead, or the day after. And the cool thing is that she showed me as well that I'm allowed to do this as well, to put my work first.
Absolutely. Plus you're sick.
That too, yes.
Like
but
I think, what you said, Sherrie, even a few months back would have been like, no, push through, do it all. So these are huge steps. This is huge changes. And me too, people pleaser from way back. And still, when my self-care is low, my default will be that attach a story to them, attach a story to me. No, not healthy, not anyone's truth, not anyone's truth.
Absolutely. I think this is the important thing. And I did have a thought, but I just kind of flittered away there for a second. So it's okay. It wasn't meant for today.
It'll come back. So I think we can really just, speak it, number one of the, I'm just going to say 11 tips of self-care. Speak it, and stillness, meditate on it. Probably, the two that we can highlight this week, and who knows what will happen next week, because, we don't promise here, we just flow. New tagline.
Exactly. That's a great one.
That's a good one. No promises, just flow. But beautiful souls, as always.
But we promise to be there, and that's the difference between flaky and not.
Yes, definitely. And showing up. And Sherrie and I will keep showing up. I was thinking about that today as I was practicing the intro. I was having a little intro practice when I was having my little self-care couple of hours, and where I didn't get to go to the pool, but I still did things for me. And you know, we're going to keep showing up, and we're going to show up, and we're going to share our lessons so that hopefully you guys can reach out to us and, you know, go, yeah, that really spoke to me, and I've made this positive change.
Would love to hear it, guys.
Trust.
On social media or direct email. It would be awesome.
Yeah, however you wish. And wow, I think that's Kate and Sherrie for...
It is for today.
I can't believe it. It really, really is. Stillness. If we are, I actually don't even think we are cutting this short, but it kind of feels like there's still space. So what I want to offer that space when we say bye-bye here is just stay in the car 2 minutes more, or do that thing that you're doing out at the clothesline or wherever you're listening to your podcast, in your office, just 2 minutes more, just sit with hand on heart. Breathe into heart space. Acknowledge that you're doing your best. If you need to say something, just say it. If you need to rearrange your day so you're prioritizing your heart's desires, beautiful soul, just do that. And we're here supporting you, and Spirit is with you, and Divine is with you, or otherwise you wouldn't have heard this podcast. That's the truth. And we're sending you all our hugs. And Sherrie, please get better soon. Rest. Good luck with this book. Share the link.
Thank you.
This, but all those folks like me who probably won't get around to finding it until, oh yeah, now here's the link. So do that. Call to action. We'll also share the link on the blog that includes my blog with the self-care tips if you'd like to read them. But I'm sure we'll be talking a lot more self-care this season, and a lot more love, and a lot more flow, and a lot more spirit. So see you all shortly. Goodbye, Fatmas. Love you, Sherrie.
Bye-bye. Love you too, Kate. Mwah.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.